Okay, so we're going to finish the note here for the last two examples. So you're going to need the deduction tables that your teacher gave you, because you'll refer to those rather than having to kind of jump back and forth with the ones that are on your note here. So we're going to read the example. Use the tables below to find the following deductions for Maria, who earns $13.06 every 2 weeks. And also we need to know that her net claim code is 3. So we want to find the federal tax for Maria. So follow along with me using your paper copies. So we're going to go down to the one that says federal tax. And we know that Maria makes $13.06. So the first thing we want to do is look for where $13.06 would fall under this pay column. So we see that $13.06 would be in this range, somewhere between $13.04 and $13.20. So then we also know that she's C3, so we want to kind of go down this column, and then here we want to go over. So we see where they connect, and that's right here. I'll circle it here. So it's $76.60. So we're going to go back up to our note, and for federal tax, she pays $76.60. Now we're going to do the same for provincial tax. So we're going to scroll, or you would flip to your page for provincial tax. And now again, we need to find what she makes in that far left column, the pay column. So we scroll, we get all the way to the bottom, and we realize it doesn't quite go far enough. So we actually have to go to the next page here. And we see $13.06 would fall right here in this range, somewhere between $13.05 and $13.21. And we go all the way over to C3 right here. So $45.60 is what she has to pay for provincial. So I'm just going to scroll back up and write that on her note. $45.60. The next one here is CPP, so the Canada pension. So go down to that one, the CPP. So we've got CPP, and again, first step is finding her salary. So let's see here. I'm going to scroll a little bit more. $13.06 would fall right in here. So between $13.05.90 and $13.06.07. And this one we don't need, there's not multiple categories. There's no difference depending on your net claim. It's always just going to be the same amount for CPP. So we'll just circle that here. It's going to be that $63.84. So I'm going to just scroll back up here. And write that down. So that was $63.84. And then the last one we need to do is our EI. So we'll scroll to the one, and you guys will flip to the one that says EI, and we'll find her salary there. $13.06 would be right here. So she would pay $20.63 right there. So we'll scroll up and write that down in our note. $20.63. Okay, and there is one more example after all of these tables here. I put it at the very bottom of the note. Okay, so we have Kyle earns $23.63 an hour, and he worked 50 hours this pay period. He gets paid time and a half, so actually I'm going to highlight that. Time and a half overtime when he's working anything over 40 hours. He also pays $15.50 for his medical plan and donates $7 to charities. So now we want to complete his earnings statement. So I'm just going to kind of move it a little bit here. So regular pay. So we need to know his hours that he was getting regular pay. So it says in here that anything over 40 is when he gets overtime. So anything 40 and under would mean he gets regular pay. So he did 40 hours of regular pay, which means he did 10 hours of overtime pay, because it did say that he did 50 altogether. And now we need to write down his rate. I don't know if I can write that small, so I'm just going to zoom in a bit here. So his rate was, oops, let me just erase that here and scroll up instead, 23.63. So 23.63 is what we'll write here. And now I'm just going to jump down and do his overtime pay rate. So remember, his overtime was time and a half. So time and a half means we multiply his regular rate of 23.63 by 1.5. So if you do that, you can get out your calculators and do that right now. So 23.63 times 1.5 gives us 35. And if we round it, it would be 45 cents. So again, to get that number, I just multiplied the 23.63 from above by 1.5, just in case you're looking back and wonder how we got that. So now we need to know the amount. So he worked 40, if we go back up to the regular pay, he worked 40 hours, getting paid $23.63 per hour. So when we multiply his hours by the rate, we get $945.20. And now for his overtime pay, we multiply the 10 by his overtime rate, which was $35.45. And we get $354.50. And now I'm just going to kind of zoom out a little bit here and move it. So now we want to know his gross pay. So again, that's his pay before he's had any deductions come off. So what we're going to do to get that is just add his regular pay with his overtime pay, and that's going to tell us how much he makes. So if we do that, we add those two numbers, we get $1,299.70. And now it wants to know his total deductions, but we haven't figured those out yet. So now we need to do what we had just done for our last example and calculate his CPP, his EI, his federal tax, and his provincial tax. So we're going to have to use those charts again. So you're going to use your paper copy so you don't have to do so much flipping back and forth. And again, the number we're going to look for to base all of this off of is his gross pay, which is 12. Here, I'll circle it right here in yellow. So we're using this number as we look in those charts. And we should also note that his net claim code is 0. It says that there above on the top of his paycheck. So it's 0 if we look for that. So we'll start with CPP. So let me find our CPP. Oh, that's the first one here. So he earned $12.99.70. So we need to find where that would be. $12.99.70. Okay, looks like it's right in here. So we've got, it will be $63.50 will be our CPP. So we'll write that down. $63.50. Okay, next we're going to do his EI. So we'll scroll to our EI table and again find his salary amount in there, or his paycheck amount. And I'll just erase the last one we had so I don't confuse you. Okay, so we're looking for $12.99.70. $12.99.70 will be right in here. So we're going to use that $20.54 for his EI. So I'll go down and write 2054. Okay, I've still got federal tax and provincial tax. So that's where we'll need the net claims code for both of those. So we'll go all the way to the top to the federal. Just kind of quickly scroll here. Okay, and I'll just zoom in now. I'll erase what we had before again, just so we don't get it mixed up. Okay. So we're looking for his amount of $1299.70, which will be right in here at the beginning. So, and he's the net claim code was 0, so that's that first column here, 0. So he's just going to be this number right here, the 174.60. So we'll go back to our example here and write that number in. 174.60. We've just got one more to look up in this chart. So that's his provincial tax. So we'll go up to provincial. Try to find his number here. So here, this one's provincial. It's the first page of the provincial, which is where I think it'll be. $12.99, again, the very last one here. So exactly $73, because I know that that first column is my net claim code 0, which is what we're looking for. So 73 is what he will pay for that. So I'll write that last one in, 73. And it looks like we've got a couple more things here, but these are just told to us in the question. So I just need to reread here. So he pays $15.50 for his medical plan and $7 to charity. So we'll write those numbers in as well. So $15.50 for his medical plan and $7 for charity. So these are all of the things that are being deducted or taken away from his pay. So we need to figure out what the total of all of those is and write that under our total deductions. So we'll add those all up. You can get out your calculators and add all those numbers up. And when you do, you should get $354.14. So those are the total deductions. And finally, his net pay. So that's the amount he actually gets to take home. He'll see that going into his bank account. So we do that by taking his gross pay and subtracting all the total of deductions. So when we do that, we take our $1299.70 minus $354.14, and then we get his net pay, which is $945.56. Okay, and that is finally the end of our note for today. And you'll notice these last two examples that we've done where we had to refer to all these charts is very similar to the homework. So if you're having any troubles with the homework, make sure that you come back to this video and just rewatch some of these lessons. All right, good luck.